Hey everyone, Sean Joel here from Elevation Leaders, where we help you 10x your business valuation. Going to speak to you today about work-life integration. This is a subject I'm very passionate about. I actually wrote a book on the subject called The Happy Leader, where this person's on this quest for happiness, and we talk quite a bit about high-performance habits, but specifically, how can you achieve work-life integration? Now, you're hearing me say work-life integration versus work-life balance. I think there's a huge difference and shift that has happened since COVID, because during COVID period, we started learning how to work from home. And as most of you know, some people returned to the office, some people stayed at home. And now we're seeing a new trend where a lot of companies expect their people to come back for the most part. Now, this is of course very industry specific. If you're in the software industry, a lot of people are still, tech software are able to work from home, but a lot of manufacturing companies, a lot of service companies, a lot of distribution companies, they're expecting people to come back to the office. We're seeing a lot of 3 days versus 2 days. So 3 days in the office, 2 days at home, or vice versa, or alternating weeks. And I know this has caused quite a little bit of controversy with a lot of people. Now, when it comes to your work-life integration, I think there's a few things that you need to consider. Number one, I think you need to determine exactly what it is that you want in your life. I think most of us don't take the time to really define exactly what we want. Do we want a job where we're at home and can work in our own environment? Or do we want to be surrounded with people? Are we super focused and ambitious and want to have this high-flying career? Or are we happy with having more of a structured type job and role and being satisfied and happy with what we're doing on a day-to-day basis? So step one is really figuring out exactly what you want, because that's going to be the basis and the foundation for the rest. Step two is doing a full review. Now that you know what you want, well, how does your current life apply to that? Is it structured in a way today? Are you actually able to fit in to that desired life? Let's say, for example, that your goal is to really have a job that's just super stable, that's not pushing you a little too far, that you get to work from home 4 days out of 5 per week, for example. But your current work situation is that it's high stress, high performance, high expectations, and the expectations are that you spend 3 days of work, 3 days of work at the office. This is a dichotomy. What are you going to do? It does not fit with your plans. It does not fit with exactly what you're looking to accomplish. So how are you going to figure out building the right work-life integration for yourself? So step one is really figuring out, actually step one, that you figure out really what you want. Step two is really figuring out, do you have that today? Step three is going to happen to be on changes. Now, what changes are you going to need to make in your life? This is usually very daunting. People are very comfortable. You may have a very stable job. You may have a nice routine that you're comfortable with, but doesn't necessarily fit with the desires that you are most searching for. So you're gonna have to make a decision sooner than later on exactly what changes you're gonna make to make sure that you can achieve that work-life integration that you're looking for. And then step four, I consider that taking back control of your calendar and therefore your life. So not everyone's as obsessed as I am. I am really obsessed with time boxing, with my calendar, with putting everything in the calendar, including my workouts, including my personal time, to make sure that it stays completely protected. The thing that's really good about that is that then you treat everything personal as important as you would treat something in your work life. And I think this is what gets missed a lot. When you have a work meeting, you will not skip out on that meeting because it's for work. But if you have a workout, or you're planning to go for a walk and that's not scheduled into your calendar, it becomes super easy to skip that part of your life, which is obviously very negative. So when you're building your calendar, the other thing I want you to consider, taking control of that calendar, is where are your energy levels at their highest? I think many people don't put the most important work at the times where they have the most energy. If you're a morning person, someone who likes to get up early, start fresh, well, that part of your day is where you need to put in the more significant, symbolic work. If you're someone who thrives later in the evening, well, then shift your work to that point. I don't necessarily believe anymore in a 9 to 5 and then, from 5 onwards, nothing else happens. For example, in my life, I have my work day. I like to spend time with the family in the evening. And a lot of times around 9:30, 10 at night, I may spend an hour working on a few things to really close up my day and make sure that I'm up to date for the next morning. I don't look at that as stressful. I don't look at that as working crazy hours. I just look at that as getting myself organized and prepared for success. So it really depends on you and your schedule. So consider those 4 steps. Step number 1, really see and determine what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Step 2 is reviewing your current setup. Does it fit into that vision that you have for yourself? Step 3 is making the actual changes, which is going to probably cause a little bit of, maybe short-term pain for a long-term gain. And then number 4 is build your ideal calendar around the work-life integration that you're looking for. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If it's helpful, do share it with others in your network. It would be much appreciated. And you can check out all of our other LinkedIn posts and other information that we have out there. Thanks. Have a great day.